World War II forced people into decisions that would be, well, unthinkable in peacetime. Survival often meant choosing between moral lines and physical survival, and in many cases those lines were crossed quietly, without ideology or hatred, simply because hunger, cold and fear erase abstractions. After the war, governments and international bodies rushed to outlaw certain practices, not because they were ineffective, but because they worked too well under desperate conditions. These survival methods were born in extremity, used briefly, and then buried under new rules meant to ensure they would never be needed again. The environments of World War II were defined by collapse. Infrastructure failed, supply chains vanished, and authority fractured. Survival tricks that emerged were not part of doctrine, but improvisations shaped by necessity. After the war, nations codified bans to prevent future normalization of these behaviors. The lesson today is not to repeat them, but to understand how fragile systems become under pressure. In occupied territories, some survival methods involve taking resources from the weakest rather than the strongest. This created internal collapse within communities. Post-war laws emphasized civilian protection precisely because this behavior proved devastating. The modern takeaway is the importance of mutual aid rather than zero-sum survival thinking. During the war, some groups altered or falsified ration systems to secure disproportionate resources. These methods worked but destroyed trust entirely. After the war, transparent rationing systems became a legal requirement in emergencies. The lesson today is that systems fail fastest when fairness collapses. Certain survival approaches relied on deliberately exposing others to environmental stress just to reduce competition. These practices, they were banned after the war because they weaponized cold, hunger and exhaustion. Modern emergency law really emphasizes shelter and aid, because, honestly, history showed exposure to be just as deadly as weapons. In chaotic environments, confinement was sometimes used to control resources or movement. These methods, I have to say, proved effective, but absolutely devastating. Post-war conventions banned such practices, reinforcing the principle that survival simply cannot come at the cost of basic human rights. Some survival tricks, believe it or not, exploited psychological collapse under hunger. These methods worked quickly, sure, but they left lasting trauma. Post-war humanitarian law recognized psychological harm as real harm. The modern lesson is clear. Resilience comes from preparation, not coercion. In extreme cases, improvised medical decisions prioritize speed over ethics. These practices saved some lives while destroying others. After the war, medical ethics were rewritten to prevent survival from overriding humanity. Preparedness today emphasizes training and supplies rather than improvisation under duress. Flooding, fire and exposure were sometimes used as survival tools. These tactics worked but destroyed civilian environments. Modern law bans them to protect populations. The lesson is clear. Environmental collapse multiplies suffering beyond the original threat. These methods were banned not because they failed, but because they succeeded in ways that society could not accept. They reveal how quickly norms dissolve under pressure. The real lesson is not how to repeat them, but how to ensure conditions never force such choices again through preparation, cooperation and resilience. World War II survival history matters because it shows the thin line between civilization and collapse. Understanding these banned practices reminds us why modern laws exist and why preparedness must focus on prevention rather than desperation. If this episode deepened your understanding of the darker side of wartime survival, subscribe to the channel for more serious, historically grounded explorations of World War II, life beyond the battlefield. Share this video with fellow history enthusiasts who value uncomfortable truths as much as heroic narratives.